We live in an age where everyone is obsessed with physical fitness, diet plans, protein shakes, and step counters. But have you ever wondered, what's the point of a healthy body if the mind is constantly anxious, restless, and overburdened? A sharp mind in a calm state is far more powerful than a fit body with a storm inside. And yet, we don't hit the gym for our mind. We don't detox our thoughts. We don't even stretch our emotions. We must ask, are we truly healthy if the mind is not at peace? Today, I want to talk to you not just about health, but about the forgotten half of it, mental and spiritual health. You see, a healthy mind is not just about being free from stress. It's about being deeply rooted in awareness, in purpose, in balance. A healthy mind knows when to push forward and when to be still. It knows how to handle success with humility and failure with grace. It knows that the world outside may change, but peace must remain unshaken within. And let me say this clearly. The secret to a healthy mind is not found in a textbook or a TED talk. It's found in the quiet connection between you and the divine. When your mind is aligned with a higher power, with God, not a religious label, not a name, but that eternal energy that holds the sun and the stars in place, when your mind is aligned with that, peace becomes your natural state, not a temporary reward. So today, let's discover this secret together. Let's not just chase success with a sick mind. Let's build a life where the mind is strong, calm, and spiritually grounded. Let's walk through 7 powerful practices that have changed lives. Not because they're trendy, but because they align the mind with truth, discipline, and divinity. Every morning, when we wake up, the first thing we think about isn't always something positive. Sometimes it's an unfinished task, a stressful conversation, a worry about money, a memory that didn't go well yesterday, or anxiety about what might go wrong today. What we don't realize is that in those very first few moments, we are feeding our mind, and what we feed it, either positivity or negativity, becomes the seed for the entire day. Just as our body cannot function on junk food, our mind cannot thrive on junk thoughts. The principle is simple but life-changing. Feed your mind like you feed your body. Imagine someone going to the gym daily, lifting weights, following a perfect diet, avoiding sugar, counting calories, hydrating perfectly, all for their physical health. But this same person spends hours scrolling through negative news, gossip videos, and people's curated highlight reels on social media. By the end of the day, their body is glowing, but their mind is tired, insecure, and anxious. Because we paid attention to what went into our stomach, but not what went into our thoughts. Our mind is like a garden. If we plant roses, we'll get roses. If we plant weeds, we'll get weeds. Most people forget this simple truth: your mind grows what you plant. And yet we allow anything and everything to enter. We allow drama, complaints, arguments, toxic opinions, and exaggerated fears to enter this sacred space. Then we wonder why we feel tired even after 8 hours of sleep. Why we lose peace even when life is stable. Why we feel unmotivated even when everything seems fine externally. The answer is the mind has been fed with emotional poison. Just like a child needs care and nourishing food to grow properly, our mind needs nourishing thoughts. Thoughts of truth, thoughts of peace, thoughts of humility, thoughts of connection with the divine. We take so much care to choose organic vegetables, read labels before buying snacks, check the expiry date on milk. But when was the last time we checked the expiry date on our thoughts? Some thoughts are so old, so rotten. Someone insulted us 10 years ago, someone betrayed us 5 years ago, and we still carry them daily. We reheat them like stale food and serve them to our mind again and again. Isn't it time we cleaned out the fridge of our consciousness? There's a beautiful example. A man once asked a monk, "What's the secret to inner peace?" The monk smiled and said, "Every day, I choose what I feed my mind, just like you choose what you feed your stomach." The man asked, "But how do you know what to choose?" The monk replied, "If it brings me closer to God, I keep it. If it takes me closer to fear, ego, or restlessness, I let it go." Such a simple but powerful filter. Not everything we consume is bad, but not everything we consume is useful. The sad part is, society teaches us how to make a living, not how to make a life. They teach us productivity, competition, and ambition. But they forget to teach us reflection, awareness, and inner hygiene. Just like brushing our teeth is daily, cleaning our mind must also be daily. We must ask ourselves, what did I think most about today? Was I filled with gratitude or comparison? Did I speak words that uplifted or words that complained? Did I consume content that enriched my soul or just entertained my eyes? To feed the mind right, we don't need to isolate ourselves. We just need to choose mindfully. A 10-minute walk in nature without noise. A few pages from a spiritually grounded book. A conversation with someone who lives in truth, not ego. A few moments of stillness where you just sit and connect with God, not through rituals, but through silence. These are the fruits, the vitamins, the clean water for your inner world. Try this for 1 week, just 1 week. Make it a priority to feed your mind something beautiful every day, even if it's just 5 minutes of silence, or listening to a talk that awakens you, or saying one prayer with feeling. Not because of tradition, but because of surrender. See what happens. You'll notice your mind becomes less reactive, more forgiving, more focused, and more joyful. It will feel like you've been carrying a heavy bag for years and finally put it down. That's what happens when the mind is well fed. It no longer runs after external pleasure because it has found internal stability. A healthy body can take you to great places in the world, but a healthy mind can take you to the highest place within. So ask yourself today, not just what you ate for breakfast, but what did you serve your soul? Was it truth? Was it peace? Was it God? If not, don't worry. Start now, because the mind, just like the body, can heal. It just needs the right nourishment, the right discipline, and the right alignment, not with the world, but with the eternal source of peace that lives within. Have you ever noticed what happens the moment you wake up? That first blink of your eyes, that first breath of the new day, that first thought that crosses your mind, that first emotion that flows in your heart. These are not random. These are not accidental. They are the brushstrokes of your destiny's canvas. The first 20 minutes of your day are not just minutes. They are spiritual instructions whispered by life itself, revealing how your day, your mood, and your decisions will unfold. Most people think destiny is something written long ago and sealed away. But the wise know, it is not something that only happens to you. It is something you shape every single morning. Your mindset, your clarity, your connection to God, your energy, and your inner balance all begin when the sun rises inside you, not just in the sky. Let us understand one truth deeply. God doesn't just bless us at temples, mountains, or holy places. He blesses most in moments of silence, surrender, and inner discipline. And these first 20 minutes of your day, that's when He whispers the loudest. But most people are too busy scrolling, rushing, or worrying to hear Him. So today, I want to invite you not to change your entire life at once, but to own your first 20 minutes. Because when you do that, you are not just managing time, you are managing destiny. And I promise you, if you win the first 20 minutes, the rest of your day will dawn before your energy like a student bows before a master. Let us now explore 7 powerful ways, deeply spiritual, intensely practical, to shape these 20 minutes so your destiny is no longer a mystery but a masterpiece. The very first thing you must do in those sacred 20 minutes is connect with silence. Not the silence of an empty room, not the silence that comes from turning off your phone, but the silence that comes from turning inward, that space where your mind meets your soul, that quiet place where noise ends and clarity begins. It's not just about sitting still, it's about becoming still inside. Most people wake up and the first thing they do is look at the world. The messages, the updates, the news, the noise. But the wise wake up and first look within. Let me ask you something. When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you do? Is it checking your notifications, rushing into the shower, thinking about what you forgot yesterday or what you're afraid of today? Most people jump into action without checking in with the most important person they'll spend the whole day with, themselves. But imagine this. Imagine waking up and not picking up your phone, but picking up your peace. Imagine sitting by your window or on your bed, placing your hand on your heart, and simply taking a few deep breaths. Not rushing into the world, but entering it gracefully as if your first steps were a prayer. Why is this important? Because silence is the doorway to wisdom. In that early morning calmness, your thoughts are not yet cluttered. Your energy is still pure. Your mind is not yet filled with noise. That's when you can actually hear the voice of God, not as thunder from the sky, but as intuition inside. A voice that says, "You are safe, you are guided, you are enough." But how will you ever hear it if you don't pause long enough to listen? There's a beautiful lesson in nature. Look at the ocean. When the water is turbulent, you can't see what lies beneath. But when the water is calm, everything becomes visible. Our mind is the same. When you start your day in rush and worry, you're diving into muddy waters. But when you begin your day with stillness, you gain the ability to see clearly. You see what's important. You see what needs attention. You understand where to focus and where to surrender. That is power. And it only comes when you start with silence. One man once said to me, "But I don't have time to sit in silence. I have deadlines, kids, responsibilities." I smiled and said, "You don't have time not to. Because if you don't take a few minutes to find your center, the rest of the world will pull you in 1,000 directions. You'll be reacting all day instead of responding. You'll be chosen the weight of the world without anchoring yourself to the strength of your soul." There is a reason why the greatest sages, saints, monks, and mystics all began their days in silence. It wasn't to escape the world. It was to face the world with more awareness. The silence didn't make them passive. It made them powerful. Because in silence you come in touch with the one who never sleeps. The supreme source, the divine energy, the God who breathes life into every moment. When you sit in silence, you're not doing nothing. You're doing the most important thing. You're remembering who you are beyond name, your title, your to-do list. Try this tomorrow. Set your alarm 20 minutes early. Don't pick up your phone. Just sit. Breathe deeply. Close your eyes. Place your attention on your breath. Feel your body waking up. And in that silence, say something gentle to yourself. Something kind. "I am grateful to be alive. I welcome this day with peace. I am connected to God and He will guide me. It doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't need to be long. It only needs to be real. Because how you begin is how you continue. And if your day begins with peace, that peace becomes your compass. If your day begins with noise, that noise becomes your shadow. So don't underestimate the power of a silent morning. It's not a ritual of the weak, but the habit of the wise. It's in those few minutes that your soul stretches, your mind clears, and your heart remembers its purpose. It's not about removing the chaos from life. It's about rising above it. And to rise, we must first be still. This stillness is not empty. It is full of answers, direction, and divine strength. And once you access it, even the biggest challenges of your day will seem smaller because you've already connected to something bigger than all of them. The sacred silence where God lives within you. After silence, the next sacred act in your first 20 minutes is to express gratitude. But not the gratitude we often rush through. Not the kind that is spoken out of habit or obligation. I'm talking about heartfelt, mindful, living gratitude. The kind that reaches deep into your soul and opens your eyes to the blessings that were already around you but went unnoticed. You see, gratitude is not just a good feeling. It is a spiritual force. It changes your vibration. It shifts your entire energy field. When you wake up in the morning and immediately begin by complaining about your body, your responsibilities, your problems, or your past, you are inviting the same energy into the rest of your day. But when you wake up and choose to start with gratitude, no matter how small or simple, you are telling life, I am ready to receive more because I have already seen the gift in what I have. Imagine this. You open your eyes in the morning, and instead of jumping out of bed thinking of stress or schedules, you pause. You take a breath. You place your hand over your heart and whisper, thank you. Thank you for this breath. Thank you for this life. Thank you for another day to try again. Thank you for the people I love. Thank you for the strength to deal with what's ahead. That simple act rewires your brain. It shifts your chemistry. You begin to look at your day not as a burden to survive, but a gift to embrace. I once met a man who had very little. He didn't have a big house, a fancy car, or much money. But he was the happiest man I had ever met. I asked him, what's your secret? He said, every morning when I open my eyes, I find 5 new things to be thankful for. Some days it's the sunshine. Some days it's the birds. Some days it's just the fact that I still have my sight and my breath. And that's enough for me to feel wealthy. That man taught me a great lesson. Wealth is not always in the bank. It's often in the heart. We live in a world where people are constantly chasing what's next. More success, more likes, more attention, more possessions. But what if the real power was in cherishing what's already here? When you start your morning with gratitude, you're not saying life is perfect. You're saying, I choose to see what's right even when things feel wrong. I choose to focus on light even when there are shadows. I choose to acknowledge that God has already given me more than I often recognize. A gratitude is not only a practice, it's a spiritual discipline. It trains your mind to look for blessings. It protects your heart from bitterness. And most importantly, it invites more abundance into your life. Because when you are grateful, you open the door of trust. You tell the universe, I trust that more good is coming. And the universe, like a faithful mirror, reflects that energy right back to you. Some people say, I'll be grateful when things get better. But life doesn't work that way. Things get better when you are grateful. Gratitude doesn't come after miracles, it creates them. A person who begins their day by appreciating their health, their loved ones, the roof over their head, the taste of clean water, the sound of laughter, the opportunity to work, to learn, that person carries a power that no problem can defeat. Try this tomorrow morning. Before you even get out of bed, think of 5 things you're grateful for. Don't just list them like a robot. Feel them. Remember why they matter. It could be as simple as the softness of your pillow, or as profound as the presence of your family. Then write them down, speak them out loud. Thank God not as a formality, but as a living connection. And if you're going through a tough time, dig deeper. Even in pain, there is something to be thankful for. Maybe it's the lesson, maybe it's the support around you, maybe it's just the fact that you're still standing. When gratitude becomes your first language every morning, you'll notice how your relationships change. You'll complain less and appreciate more. You'll become more compassionate, less reactive. You'll feel stronger in the face of setbacks because you've trained your heart to see blessings even in disguise. Remember, the first 20 minutes of your day are not for chasing the world. They are for grounding yourself in what matters. And gratitude is the root that grounds you. It reminds you that you are already blessed. It humbles your ego. It calms your restlessness. And it aligns you with the highest truth, that you are never alone, never forgotten, and always held in the embrace of a higher power. So, when the sun rises, don't rise in worry. Rise in thanks. Because when you fill your morning with gratitude, you fill your life with grace. Once you've touched silence and awakened gratitude, the next sacred thing to do in your first 20 minutes is to set your intention for the day. This is not just about making a do list. This is deeper. This is about aligning your energy, your thoughts, and your spirit with purpose. Intention is the spiritual blueprint of your day. Just like an architect doesn't start building a home without a clear design, you should not begin your day without a clear mental and emotional design. Otherwise, the world will build it for you. And you might not like the results. When you don't set an intention, you're like a ship without a compass, easily swayed by every wave of emotion, every storm of stress, and every current of distraction. But when you begin your day with clarity, you take charge. You become the master of your emotions, not the slave of situations. Your actions begin to align with your values. You stop reacting and start responding with wisdom. Let me share something powerful with you. There was a woman who used to feel overwhelmed every single morning. The moment she woke up, her mind was full of anxiety, thoughts of work, relationships, health, responsibilities, all crashing in at once. She felt like she was already drowning before the day had even started. Then, one day, someone suggested she begin her mornings by setting a single intention, just one thought to carry through the day. So she tried. One morning, her intention was, today I will be calm no matter what happens. Another day it was, today I will act with kindness even under pressure. Slowly, her days began to change. The same problems came, but her power to face them increased. Why? Because she wasn't starting her day empty. She was starting it anchored. You see, intentions are not rules. They are reminders. They are gentle whispers to your mind when the noise gets loud. They are like the steering wheel or day. They don't remove the bumps on the road, but they help you stay in the right direction. One small intention planted in those first 20 minutes can guide thousands of decisions, thoughts, and moments throughout the rest of your day. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as simple as, today, I choose peace over pressure, or I will speak with love today, or no matter how busy I am, I won't forget to breathe. The key is not to just say it. The key is to feel it. Close your eyes. Picture the day ahead. See yourself walking through it with the strength and mindset that your intention holds. This visualization turns your thought into a seed that grows throughout the day. There is a beautiful truth in ancient wisdom. That thought is the first form of creation. Everything you see around you, every building, every invention, every system, all of it began as a thought. If such things can come from thought, imagine what your own day can become if it is birthed from the right intention. You're not just preparing to go to work or handle responsibilities. You're preparing to serve, to evolve, to grow, and to remain connected to the divine even while walking through the worldly. Intention brings consciousness. And when consciousness is present, even ordinary moments become sacred. Drinking your tea becomes a ritual. Walking becomes a meditation. Speaking becomes an offering. And your presence becomes a gift to others.